Hi, this is Molly with Molly Q Creates and StarryNightCreations.com. Today with Notion, I'm going to show you how to add an inline table to a page. Now, an inline table is probably one of my most favorite functions in Notion, and it's one that I find the most useful for organizing information. So to get started, we're going to start with a brand new blank page. So in the left menu bar, we're going to go to Add a Page. It's going to show up as Untitled. So in the title, let's call it Idea Board. And I'm going to show you with this page how you can organize ideas that you find on the internet. And now let's add an icon. If you add a cover, it's going to be the full width of the page. I rarely use covers, but you certainly can. To get rid of it, hover over it where it says change cover. And then you can see you have options. You have colors, you have thousands of different stock images, but I'm just going to select remove. Instead, I want an icon. So again, when you just hover over the name, you can go to add icon. And you see the icons over here. I think it helps you to find the page that you want more quickly. Like the reading list, you look for the book. You kind of can connect the visual image faster than you can read the text. So I don't want the theater faces though, or an emoji. Let's go to icons, and I'm going to filter, like I want a light bulb. And again, you can just kind of scroll through to see what you want, but I'm going to go ahead with the light bulb, and then I want a pink light bulb. So now you see I have the pink light bulb here, the idea board, and it's already in my pages menu over here on the left. Now, one other thing before we start designing this page is that the text seems very narrow in here. So what I'm going to do is up here on the right, where these three dots are in the far right corner, I'm going to change it to full width. See how that just automatically opens up the board? So now that I have the full width, I have my title for the page and I have my icon. It gives you some prompts as to what you want to do next. Just press enter to continue with an empty page or pick a template. You can add a template. These are more for like linking information to it. So we're just going to start with, I'm just going to go up here and hit enter. So we are going to add an inline database, but before we do that, I'm going to add, let's add a list. And then let's add a title. Now, the reason I'm doing these two things is that when you add an inline database, it kind of wants to take over the full width of the page. I kind of like to break it into columns. So this is my trick to getting around that. But at first, okay, then we might as well add the inline. And so when you do the slash, it brings up this menu. I don't want the regular simple tab table. And you can scroll down, and I want a database inline. Okay, so now I have this list. I'm going to change that. So by clicking on these 6 dots, I come up with this menu, and I want to turn it into heading 1. Same thing with this title. I'm going to click on the 6 dots. I'm going to turn it into a heading 2. Now I want 2 columns. I want one that's maybe a quarter to a third way of the page, and the rest for the rest of the width of the page. So for the second column. So I'm just going to click and hold the 6 dots. I'm going to drag it up here, and you see, like right now, you see this kind of blue line shows you where it's going to go. I want it to go here, and you see how the blue line changed from a horizontal line to a vertical line. I'm going to drop that there. Now I have two columns, so I'm going to bring that over. Now I'm going to take my table, and I'm going to move it up under. You see how it's right now it's under both columns? I want it to be under the title. I'm going to turn that into, that's a heading 2. So if you notice how they weren't even across, I'm going to show that to you again. This is something I struggled with at first. So if you have them where they're not the same, like the same heading going across, you're going to get some unevenness with your rows. So this is a heading 1, and this is a heading 2. So I'm going to change this. Again, just click on the 6 dots, turn into, you don't want to turn into page in. That's going to affect the whole page. Just turn into, and I want a heading 1. Now you see they're straight across from each other. And now I have my title under here, or my board under here, so that now I have a column where I can add links. I can add some quick links, some pages. I can add some lists. So let's create a shopping list. Oops, and that's not what I wanted to do. So let's just change this to shopping list. And then underneath that, let's do again, I just hit the slash. Let's do it as a to-do list, so that then as I list items, as I go and purchase them or order them, I can click the box and it'll cross it off. Now with this, once you start a list, say that I want cricket mats. When I hit enter, it creates the next one. But if I had another list down here, let's just say items. Let's type in, let's say upcoming events, so that you know what you need to make items or cards for. I'm going to again turn that into a heading 1. And see, now as I add things to my list, I need more adhesive. It's just going to move this down, so you don't have to keep moving it down as you make your list bigger. Okay, so that's just kind of a little side note about this. Let's go back to the idea board. And let's change this title to, let's just make it simple, ideas. So now I have this title over it. However, that did not name the board. Remember that I had that heading. That's just a heading 1. And I'm going to delete this to show you what happens. It's not linked to the board. It was just a heading to make it look a little nicer. But now I'm at the database. I'm going to change it to, I'm going to name it ideas. You always want to name your database because then when you link it, it's easier to find. If you have a bunch of them that are untitled, it's going to be much harder to relate the databases to each other. And I will go into that in a future video. For right now, we're going to focus on making an idea board. So first of all, name, tags. We can change any of these as we go, but the second one is always set as a multi-select. And so we're going to keep that as multi-select, but I'm going to change it to type of project. And so again, I just clicked on that. If I wanted to change what type of column it was, I can click on type. And then I get all of these different options. I can get it as a relation, a formula, a checkbox. I can add a file, link a file to it. You can add a date. Add a person is other people who you can like assign things to other people who you share the board with. Select. The difference between select and multi-select is that select, you create the options, but you can only select one. A multi-select is you can select multiple options. So we're going to go with multi-select. And then you can either set your options now by editing property or as you go. So let's edit the property, multi-select, add an option. Types of projects that I normally look at would be tutorials, and then you hit enter and you see how it adds it. There's also scrapbooking projects, and then let's say card making, and then again I just hit enter, and on each one you can click this arrow going to the right and you can either delete it or you can change the color of it. If you want them all to be the same color, you can change them all to, let's change them all to light gray. It just gives you more of a monotone look, but it's, again, this is all customizable to your preferences. Then let's add another column for, let's do a URL so we can add the link to the project. But instead of calling it URL, let's call it website link. You see how the URL changed to website link? Now, if you want to change the order of the columns, you just click on it and drag it. Let's see, one more thing. Let's see. Let's add a checkbox. Let's call it to make. So these are the ideas you want to create right away. And I just did that wrong. Instead of I titled it before I selected it. So let's try that again. Click on the plus. We want a checkbox. And now the checkbox, you see here it says type checkbox, and we want to name it. And if you forget to name it at the spot, you can just go over here, click on it again. This is going to be to make. And the other thing is you can also change the width of the columns just by clicking on, and once you get that blue line, and I want this one like probably like right away after the name. And then let's add one more for just notes. And this is just going to be a text field. And let's call it notes. So any notes you want to add about the project that you want to just see offhand, these can be like quick, short notes. When you open it up, you can have longer notes. Okay, so now we have our database and we have columns. We can always add more columns as we go, but we have a starting point. Now, whenever you start a database, it gives you 3 empty rows. Let's just go through, clean this up, and delete them. Now, in the first one, I'm going to make the screen a little narrow. I'm going to move this to like half my screen. And I have the Molly Q Creates website up. And we are going to grab some ideas off of the website and put them in the board. One other thing, when it gets like really jumbled up, you can hide this navigation by, you see when you hover over it, you get these 2 arrows pointing to the left. Click on that. And then whenever you want to change pages, you can just hover over to the side and click the page you want. So it gives you a little bit more room. Okay, so we are going to start by selecting, so I'm just going to make this bigger to make it a little bit easier to see. So let's start by talking about, let's go to the project gallery. So here's a birthday layout. So let's click on that to go to the page. And it gives you the instructions, what you need, and there are some images. Now we don't need to take everything off of here. In fact, all we need is this first page. So let's say, okay, so it's called Celebrate Happy Birthday to You is the name of the layout. So let's start here with ideas. Called Celebrate Happy Birthday to You. If you want to check if you have a birthday coming up or you have some birthday photos, you can check that. Type of project. Click in there. It's a scrapbooking project. The website link. Let's go back to here and then click on the URL, copy it, and then go back to the website link and paste it in. Notes. It's a 2-page layout. And so now we have our information, but we don't really see anything. It's not very visual. It's just a table. So remember how I said we can open each row? When you hover over the name, you see this open. Click on that, and now it opens to a page. Now it's going to open off to the side. You can do this to open it in a full page view. And now I'm just going to reduce my page again. And so here is the information from the columns. And again, at any point, even when you're in a page, you can add a property and it's going to add a column. You can also rearrange how these show up. You can add comments, and that's for more if you're sharing this page with others that are also working on it. I don't really use that often, but if you're in a team environment, that was where you would use it to make a comment. So right here, you can create a template, you can hit enter, you can go on with a empty page. So we're going to click there. We're going to go over here and we're going to grab this picture. I think if we scroll all the way down, that's one page. Okay, so we are going to grab this picture, and this works for, I'm going to say 80% of the images on the web, where you can just click on it, hold it down, and drag it. And it brings it right over. Sometimes you might have to use a clipping tool to clip it, save it to your desktop, and then bring it back into here. But for 80% of them, you can just click on it and drag it. And now there are other images here, including one of the left page and one of the right page. So I'm just going to go to the image, click, drag it over. And let's see, did that work? Sometimes you get this embed link. Okay. So I just dragged them, and this one they went next to each other. I actually want them to be side by side. So I'm going to drag this one and bring it down. You see how you get that horizontal line? And then I'm going to go and grab the second page. And again, you see that blue line pop up. I'm going to drag it under there. So now I have some images. I also have the link so that I can always go back and get the directions. I'm going to go back up here. You kind of get your navigation bar. When you open this to a full page, you can see you're here. You can go back to the ideas. You can also go back to the idea board to show the full page. So up here, you're going to get your navigation. Okay, so now that we're back on a full page, I'm going to bring this table back, just the left navigation. So now you have your page. Now we know we have pictures in there, but we can't see them. So we are going to change this from a table view. We're going to actually, we're going to add a view. So this is the view of what you're looking at the table. So we're going to click this plus. And over here on the right, we want a gallery view. Now, one thing about the gallery view is it'll show the picture, but sometimes it doesn't show the full picture. So if you go down here to fit image, it will fit the whole image in there. So now one more thing about this gallery view is it's only showing the title. And if you want to show more than the title, again, you can go over here to the three dots. You can also go to gallery and edit view. And right here under properties, it shows you that name is showing, but it gives you the other ones that are hidden. Let's click on the eye for the notes, and that will show up, or not the notes, but the to make and the type of project. So now you see right here, you have scrapbooking, whether or not you're going to make it, and the name of the project. Let's do one more. And now I just clicked on it. And then this one, let's do this one as a tutorial. So let's go back to the website, go to I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the top, and I'm going to go to the home page. And there's a tutorial on how to stencil. So I'm going to click on the tutorial. And right here, so untitled. It's called Stenciling 101. A beginner's guide. let's see, that did not open up here, so let me get back to that one. And now this one is the type of project. It's a tutorial for the website link. I'm going to go back here, click on, highlight the link, go to here, paste it. And now it actually thought that I was selecting down here. So I'm just going to go down here and delete it. And then I'm going to take this image and slide it in. Again, I just dragged and clicked on it, held it, dragged it over. So now I have my image there. Again, I just clicked off of that page to go back to the main board. And I'm just going to give this a second to reset. And there, now I have the start to my idea gallery. So now in additional videos, I'm going to show you how to relate this to additional tables, but I wanted to give you an idea of how you can create an inline database and how you can show ideas from it so that when you see ideas on the internet, like Pinterest is great. I love Pinterest, but my boards get really messy with all of the ideas I have saved to it. So this is a way that you can visually separate them. And it just helps, like if you say, I need a birthday card or I need a stenciling card, and that brings up one more idea. I'm going to go back to table view because I think it's a little bit easier to adjust columns from table view. So we have type of project, but we don't have theme. So let's do one more. Let's do this as a multi-select, add an option. Let's do birthday, add that as an option. And the other one was stenciling. So now we have the type of project, but we did not, what do we want to call that? Theme. And then I'm going to drag this over here. And so for the theme for the birthday one, we can select a birthday. And for the stenciling one, stencil. Can make these columns a little bit narrower. And so there you go. We have two different ideas started. You can click to the gallery view so you can get a quick look at the ideas. And that's a great visual representation so that when you need to look for a birthday layout or a card or an idea, you can go to your board and you can see all the ideas that you have saved. And again, once you open it up, you can go to the link to go directly to where it is. So you don't have to save any additional information than what you want to get you started on it, because you can link right to it. So I hope this was helpful in showing you some of the capabilities that Notion has and how to start a table or how to start a page and add an inline database. In future videos, I'm going to show you how to relate it to another database and also how to make it look a little prettier. Thank you for watching.